Bitcoin retraced into technical support. Notice former pivot high where it pulled back to the scene of the crime. That now becomes technical support. You broke up. You touched your double top right up here from March. It got rejected. This technically is a buyable level on Bitcoin. All right. So again, I would expect Bitcoin to trade up and maybe retest or even pierce 74,000. Now, if by chance Bitcoin falls and confirms below this line, that would be very bad for Bitcoin. As of now, even if it trades below this line, it's still technically a buy. It's just probabilities are not as good. So
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, let's discuss these topics and more.
let's talk probabilities here, guys. As long as Bitcoin doesn't confirm below this line now, 80% chance it breaks up and makes, let's say, a 74,000, 75,000 high, right? I don't know how high it'll go, but the idea is 80% upside probability. If it confirms below but stays between this line and this line, 60%. 60% bullishness, 40% bearishness. If it breaks and confirms here, now all of a sudden only 40% bullish and 60 bearish. So you see how each level, as you break down or break above, the probabilities adjust. And that's really, really important. Most investors, we deal with, generally retail investors are very much about black and white. It's either it's all in bullish or all in bearish, right? But in reality, there's shades. They're just like in life. There's shades of gray. And you have to understand that with the levels. The best in technical traders will understand that. And it affects their position sizing. It can affect whether they stay in a position or not. It gives them an exit strategy if it breaks and confirms below a level. Really, really important things, but it's just not like the retail public. If we think about it, we've been fed a lot of nonsense. The retail public, you have analysts that come out and upgrade, or Goldman Sachs says Bitcoin's going here. And then in our minds, in the general public's mind, it's like, well, Goldman said that. So there's only that possibility that it's going up to that level. And plus I'm long, so I really wanted to go there. So I'm going to believe in that. Got to be careful. Things change. Times change. Situations change. All of that can affect probabilities. And that's why the charts are so useful. All right. On to the next chart. Let's go to the next chart here as we go through. Let's look at gold. Gold, take a look at this, guys. In fact, let me bring up my other gold chart, the one I want to have in my lines. So this may look complex, but I wanted to show you guys there's a parallel line in blue that connects through these lows and through this low to this high to this high. And look at how they both these parallels, and by the way, you can see right here, this one connects through this low, from this high to this high. They both crossed right here. When two lines cross, okay, and this is a great technical analysis education point, is when you have two factors or more, like two lines crossing, right, and price comes right into them, or in this case from underneath, it's going to be more resistance than if it's just one line. All right, and think about it like this. Think about it like, you're banging on the door, your cat's stuck in, the house is burning down. You got to break down your door, but you forgot you locked yourself out of the house, something like that. If you just have a wooden door, one wooden door, you hammer it a few times, you break through it. If you have a door and then you reinforced it because, you're like me and you put like steel on it or something crazy like that, it's going to be a lot harder to break down. That's like two linings of the door. And that's the idea behind multiple trend lines converging. It's what we would call kind of like, I call it a necktie. A necktie. It's the cross section, right? Cross section right here. All right. Anyways, going back to the charts here as we continue through. Silver, guys, I gave you guys this downside level on silver. I said 32.50 was your first support. Sure enough, hit it yesterday, getting a small bounce, doing its thing right there. I did not buy here. Just for full and fair disclosure, I did not buy here. I just don't like the risk reward. And honestly, call me an idiot. That's fine. But I'm a skeptic on the economy still. I still am. All the data historically, whether it's yield curve inversion, uninverting, 3 to 6 months out is when a recession hits. We haven't even gotten to 3 months out yet from that. I want to see what happens here. And as much as I like silver over the next 5 years or so, or 10 years, in the shorter term, I do think that I might be able to buy it a little bit cheaper. And so I'm looking at that situation there.
Despite a slight price dip from its weekly high, Bitcoin's derivatives markets show stability, indicating that traders remain optimistic about a potential price recovery. BTC's recent rally cooled, with a dip to $68,232 as markets adjusted to economic data. Neutral funding rates, 0.01%, indicate measured bullish positioning, supporting potential gains. BTC follows S&P trends, affected by inflation fears and underwhelming tech earnings reports. The November 5 election and Fed rate decisions could drive dollar depreciation, benefiting BTC. With positive derivatives data, BTC is primed for upward momentum, pending favorable economic outcomes.
Also, speaking of which, just keep an eye on things like nickel. Like this chart on nickel here, guys, if we look at this, it's bouncing today, but look at this chart on nickel. That doesn't tell me the economy's robustly doing well. All right, and same thing you could look at, almost any of these other ones. Copper is a great example too, not as ugly of a chart, but copper, again, bear flagging right here. And again, you're seeing a little bit of an uptick today, but nonetheless, you're way off your highs from earlier this year on copper, and that's usually not a good sign for the global or domestic economy. But anyways, I digress. Let's go to oil real quick here, guys. Crude oil today getting another little bit of a bounce, but again, if we zoom out on the chart, still stuck at the lower end of the range here. Remember, crude oil, the big level is right here. Very clear. Literally, you could even stretch it back here. We could even draw it back here. Let's even do that. You can draw it all the way back. This is a huge area of support. If at any time, all right, and I'm going to go on record here and say this, if at any time you break 65 or so and confirm, please remember the confirmation signal, you are opening the door on oil to falling not just to $50, but even down to 30, where you have multiple. Look at these. Let me go to the weekly chart. Look at these trend lines converging. High pivot from 08 to the high pivots from 2013, 2014, and 2018, all the way down. And then this pivot low right through here, they're converging at 35. Okay? Lastly, go to natural gas, which again, remember, I haven't had a trade on this in the recent history, and I got to actually type it in correctly to bring it up. There we go. But let's see what it's doing here. If we zoom in on the chart, you can see it's borderline short-term breakdown here. You have this little trend line here. This is not a shortable level or a buyable level. Remember, I said very clearly, this is my support level here where I would think about buying. But if it can break here, maybe we get a momentum sell-off next week or in the coming weeks where it does trade into here, and then I might get a long opportunity. So again, there are some good trades here. Again, some potential setups, some things to watch. These are all these different things that we watch and follow, folks. And again, as a technician, it doesn't matter. I really go my hardest to make sure that I am agnostic in terms of, do I like something or not? I don't make that decision, and you guys shouldn't either.
Despite Bitcoin's volatility, it remains a promising digital asset, and these 7 investors have become the wealthiest holders of Bitcoin in 2024. Changpeng Zhao, $33 billion. Binance founder retains a significant fortune from his stake. Ryan Armstrong, $11.2 billion. Coinbase CEO holds 18% of North America's largest crypto exchange. Giancarlo Devasini, $9.2 billion. Tether CFO, transitioned from medicine to crypto, now holds a large stake. Michael Saylor, $4.4 billion. MicroStrategy CEO, a vocal Bitcoin advocate with extensive holdings. Jen Lewis van der Velde, $3.9 billion. Former Tether CEO with a 20% stake in the company. Matthew Rozak, $3.1 billion. Early investor in Bitcoin and key industry influencer. Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, $2.7 billion. Bitcoin pioneers, also founders of Gemini Exchange. Researchers argue that banning Bitcoin mining in eco-friendly countries could unintentionally increase global emissions by shifting mining to regions with higher carbon output. From meme coins to accusations of polymarket manipulation to Michael Saylor's bizarre custodial comments, last week in crypto was certainly exciting. JPMorgan CEO Jamie Dimon has warned that World War II may have begun, citing extraordinary, unprecedented risks from escalating conflicts and alliances threatening global stability. After a prison sentence and forced exit from Binance's leadership, Changpeng Zhao hints at bold, unexpected ventures ahead, charting a path few could foresee. Bryce is granted 13 nations partner status, signaling ambitions for wider influence as nations aim to strengthen currency networks and reduce dependence on the US dollar. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.